Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Well, holy smokes, there's been more news breaking today than I think on any single day ever. I mean, everything's just coming apart. I'm going to get into some craziness that happened with Megyn Kelly. We'll talk about what's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota as a whole. There's been some big things that have broken just in the last few minutes. In fact, right before I hit go live on the podcast here on YouTube, some major news broke, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes. And we got a lot more to cover, plus your calls if you'd like to call in. So let's get into it. Now, I want to start. I carried live today the White House press conference with J.D. Vance, which was amazing. And he made an announcement in that press conference. And I'm going to play that for you and tell you what I think is going on here. Here's J.D. Vance, and this is at the White House press conference today, which was very, very good. He took questions. I carried the whole thing. It's the video before this one on my YouTube channel, guys. If you want to go and check it out, it was an amazing press conference. But I want you to listen to this part and let's talk about it.
If you're a young parent struggling to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number two, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece the United States and our taxpayers to begin with. We have actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way.
Okay, now that was J.D. Vance today in the press conference, and I wanted to run this by you to see if you guys agree or disagree with my thought on this. When this first happened, this is unusual. So, they already have people to investigate fraud at Justice. So they're creating this new Deputy Attorney General position to do just that, investigate all this fraud, as opposed to a special counsel. And I've noticed the last 24 hours since this incident in Minneapolis, Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, has been taking the lead. And the fraud in Minnesota for the last week and a half since Nick Shirley's story dropped. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow that the story dropped, but the federal agents moved in. They were Department of Homeland Security agents moved into Minnesota to investigate the fraud. And of course, that's Kristi Noem. Now this new Deputy Attorney General. It seems to me that the president is fed up with Pam Bondi and is completely bypassing her. He doesn't want to fire her, I guess because we're in an election year and he doesn't want the bad press from that or scandal or her camped out as a pundit on MS Now or CNN ripping him during the midterm election year. But it looks to me like Pam Bondi has been sidelined, doesn't it? Because, these things that are going on, she should be the front person. And, I'd even seen her in a press conference yet. We've got this major federal incident in Minneapolis where, federal agents have immunity from local prosecutions with federal agent involved shootings. they're out there talking about charging this federal agent with murder in the local court system out there. We've got all this fraud going on. I did not even know Homeland Security had agents that could investigate such things. Do you agree with me or not? You can let me know in the live chat. You can let me know in the comments if you're not watching live, or you can call me during the live show on YouTube at 888-465-2631. Do you agree with me that it looks as if President Trump is fed up with Pam Bondi and is sidelining her? He just doesn't want to fire her. That's what it looks like to me. It's, you know what, and if that's what he's doing, good. I'm so tired of her doing nothing with some press conferences where she seems very upset and then nothing happens. So if that's what he's done, that is a good thing. And it's better than firing her, because once you fire her, she'll be all over the place, causing problems on television, and it really sidelines her. This was just absolutely amazing. This was Tim Burchett today, and he's talking about this fraud in Minneapolis. And what's been going on in Minnesota is insane. The latest count we have on the fraud is $19 billion with a B. Tim Walz is all over this. In fact, J.D. Vance pretty much said that he's behind it, or really, he's connected to it. It was turning a blind eye. J.D. Vance was pretty direct about his belief of Tim Walz's responsibility with the Somali pirate fraud going on in Minnesota. And this is not only the biggest financial scandal in the history of this country, what's going on in Minnesota, it's the biggest political scandal as well. And what we're going to find out is there's a nationwide network of Democrats. That's why they're freaking out and why they're heading to California. But I wanted to share this with you. This is Tim Burchett, and he's talking about all of it here. Let me pull this up. Here we go. Listen to that. This is really, and he's got all the info.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. A lot's been made out of what's going on in Minnesota, and a lot more is going to be. It's in the billions of dollars of fraud. A lot of people want Tim Walz put in jail.
Yep.
I doubt that's going to happen. Being incompetent was a crime. Most of Washington, D.C. being changed. So, but what's happening is money's funding terrorists. It goes from the Somalis in Minnesota. They end up giving it to a group called Al-Shabaab, which is a terrorist organization.
And I'll play the rest of this. So our Medicaid dollars are being used to fund Al-Qaeda. What the heck? And
their affiliates. In fact, they're the wealthiest, one of the wealthiest factions of Al-Qaeda. And they use the money, of course, to purchase weapons from the Houthis in Yemen, which is only about 250 miles away from them. And the Houthis get the weapons, and they get them from Iran. And that means the money, of course, was given to fraudulent groups in Minnesota, and eventually, of course, ends up in Iran. And it's just more of the same. We want to defund the Taliban. We can't even get the Senate to do that. So it's an ongoing process. But you need to know that they're using American taxpayer dollars. Hey, brother, appreciate you. American taxpayer dollars to fund terrorism, and that is exactly what's going on. And it's just the tip of the dadgum iceberg. You're going to see this stuff all over the country, and it's funding our enemies all over the world. As I've said many times, folks, they'll hate us for free. We need to support the president and all the efforts to do this. Hey, good to see you, girl. Anyway, hey, brother, how are you?
A quick sec for me?
Thank you all for sending me here. Sure, man.
Okay, what a nice guy. Well, it's insane what's going on, and if he said it, it's true. And what's crazy about it is not that it's happening, because you've got this major fraud, so it's happening. What's crazy about it is that it's happening, and no one seems interested in doing anything about it. The funding of Al-Qaeda by the Somalis. And, you watch this coverage in Minnesota. I'm going to play some clips coming up a little later in the show of interviewing some of the liberals that are on the ground out there. I'm going to get into Megyn Kelly here first. But a little later, I'm going to play some audio clips of some of the people on the ground in Minnesota. And, you know, what's happened is, and J.D. Vance was talking about this today, we have these lunatic Democrat activists that have been gaslit and brainwashed their entire lives by the Democrat Party. They see an entirely different United States than you and I see. They live in an alternate reality. They learn an alternate history. They learn an alternate story about the process of this country and its history. And there's no getting to these people. It's a mix of a couple things. Their minds are so far gone. They're in a cult is what they are. They're a bunch of pod people. It's like the invasion of the body snatchers. They're so far gone that they are beyond any type of help or even getting through to them. You can't talk to these people. They're gone. And here we are, more than 24 hours since this incident. And if you watch that press conference with J.D. Vance, the media are in a meltdown mode because Kristi Noem and the vice president and the president have immediately gotten out there and shared exactly what happened. And the media are not able to form or craft a false narrative to create controversy. And, you know, the video footage that has come out and totally cleared the ICE agent, you see him get hit by the car. It's very clear. These videos are all videos taken by these liberal lunatics on the scene on their cell phone that they were posting to social media. So the source of the information, you and I have not had access to the body cam footage from the ICE agents yet. Everything we've seen, the source are the liberal activists that were there. But the thing about them being brainwashed and gaslit by the Democrats, Kristi Noem said in a press conference last night that there's been about 100 incidents of these people ramming their cars into ICE vehicles. There were, 4 of these incidents yesterday alone in Minneapolis. Who rams their car and totals it? Number one, it's very dangerous and destructive to your car, but you're also committing a federal crime that you're going to go to prison for. And these people have been so gaslit and so brainwashed by the Democrat Party, they think they are freedom fighters. They don't understand that what they're doing is illegal. They have been completely brainwashed and convinced that they are fighting Nazi stormtroopers with ICE. Of course, I'm not agreeing with that. You don't agree with that. I'm not excusing their illegal behavior, but I'm telling you that their minds are completely gone. And all of this violence that's going on, there's a major organization, and they're going to find out about it. It is going to be exposed. The White House is not messing around with this. But the Democrat politicians and the corporate mainstream news, as well as even the pundits out there, are instigating violence constantly over these issues and have told these people what they're doing is okay. They believe that not only are they fighting Nazis, but that they are rescuing people that are being kidnapped by Nazis to be sent off to Auschwitz. That's how they think. And that's why things have gotten to this insane and dangerous level where they are right now. All right, now I want to get into Megyn Kelly, who was with Tucker Carlson today. And I got 3, let me see here, 1, 2, I got 3 clips of her. I'm not playing these in any particular order. I'll just play them and then we'll talk about them after. She's saying a lot of crazy things here, and let's get into it. This is Megyn Kelly with Tucker Carlson. By the way, you're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, which is available wherever you get podcasts. Just go to wherever you listen to podcasts and search for the Brian Craig Show, and the podcast will pop up. If you want to catch the show live in video form, where I take live calls and see the video version of the podcast, go to YouTube or YouTube Music and search for the Brian Craig Show. Subscribe there. And when I go live, like I am right now, if you're watching on YouTube live, you can see the show live in video form. Okay, so here's Megyn on the Tucker Carlson Show.
And then came Candace Owens. And that she really drives people crazy. She drives them crazy. They were very angry that I didn't call her out for what she said about Israel possibly being involved with Charlie Kirk. Well, I didn't call her out because I was totally fine with those questions being raised and still am. I'm sorry, but I am. I'm sick of this bullshit. I am allowed to have questions about what, if anyone, aligned with Israel or from Israel might have had to do with Charlie's death. And then,
Okay. This bizarre position, and it gets worse, okay? This bizarre position that Megyn Kelly takes, the First Amendment, and I support people being able to say anything. She doesn't support people being able to say anything. In fact, a lot of what she does on her program and has done over the years is calling people out for things that they've said. But to hide behind the First Amendment and not condemn someone and to constantly say you're not going to condemn them, it's one thing. You can't go around condemning everyone, but you don't have to talk. If you're talking about somebody all the time, but you won't condemn their racist, anti-Semitic rhetoric, what are you really doing? With Megyn Kelly, there's a variety of things that are going on, but I really stand by that she's clout chasing. Candace Owens got famous because she was a black conservative woman, right? She was black MAGA, and she got very famous doing that when it was a rare thing to be a black MAGA person. Now it's much more common. But what she did, it was more than that. What Candace Owens would do when she started to get a little bit of popularity on the different platforms and everything, she would start trolling famous people, Carly B or somebody, and then she would get, they would respond to her, and then she would get recommended in their threads and all this stuff. That's what with this thing with Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly. I think there's a lot of that with Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly, I believe, is doing a lot of clout chasing. And Candace Owens has millions and millions of listens and views on each one of her podcast episodes. Megyn Kelly wants to have those kind of numbers. So she is talking about Candace Owens all the time, trying to have some of her clout wash off on her. She knows that Candace Owens' popularity has exploded when she went on this nutty anti-Semitic Israel's behind everything. So she's getting on board with that, I guess, trend, if you want to call it that. There could be other things involved, but I think sometimes, the simplest answer is usually, I think that's more of what it is. And I don't listen to her anymore. I used to like her show. I started listening to her when she first interviewed Bobby Kennedy Jr. about the assassination of his uncle and his father. And I started listening to Megyn Kelly very regularly. I've stopped. Now, I know you might say, well, you got these clips. Well, I see clips on X, and I'll listen to it, but I don't listen to her show anymore. I'm not interested in anything she has to say because I think she's destroyed her credibility, just like the guy sitting next to her, Tucker Carlson. So that's the first clip, and I got two more. Again, I'm not playing these in any particular order. There we go. Pull this one up.
Then came Candace Owens, and that she really drives people.
Okay, no, that's the one I just played. Hold on a second here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Here's the next one. This is also on Tucker's show.
I won't condemn and say that Candace Owens is hateful. They want me really, really badly to condemn Candace Owens. And I'm sorry to break it to them, but I am responsible for what I say, not for what anybody else says. I am not Candace Owens's policeman. And by the way, they're kidding themselves that if just one more voice will say something nasty about Candace, she could finally be controlled.
Okay. Yeah. So, this has been going on, this talk of her with Candace Owens and what Candace Owens has said. This has been going on with her for, I don't know, about 2 months now, right? Yeah. I mean, it's going on and on and on. Now, there's one more clip, and I had it queued up, and I just lost it. Let me see if I can. Okay, here's the other one I wanted to play, and I think there might be one more.
He's very interesting. And
Okay, yeah, this is the one. She's talking about Nick Fuentes here.
he's very interesting and he's very smart. And on a lot of things, there is value to be derived from that guy's messaging. I'm sorry, but he actually has a lot of things he talks about that you're like, oh, this is not a bad point about our country.
Nick Fuentes, he's making things that aren't bad points about our country. See, this is more of the clout chasing because Nick Fuentes has a very large following of lunatics, okay? So she's trying to get on that trend and try to get some of that. She's trying to get some of Nick Fuentes' audience, some of Candace Owens' audience, and it's I think it's more and more obvious every day. And I'm not sure why she's so jealous of that, but of their audiences. She's got a pretty big following, but she's gone to places that once you go there, that's it. There's no coming back from them, and she continues to go to these wild places, and the more she does it, the more she's going to destroy herself, her program, and whatever credibility she has. And it's really sad because some of these people were good, like Tucker Carlson. We all like Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker Carlson. Okay, but he's totally discredited himself. Megyn Kelly's done the same thing. And why is she this little crush she's got going on here with Nick Fuentes? I don't understand that at all. He is what he is. He's an anti-Semite. Anti-Semites don't have anything interesting to say or interesting commentary on anything. I just don't listen to them and I tune them out. But she thinks that what he's saying is interesting. All right, I'm going to take our first break. And when we get back, I got a lot to cover, so I'm going to get into some other stories. But you're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far. The number to call in is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are. If you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. We'll be right back.
Planning a trip with friends shouldn't feel like a full-time job, but somehow great ideas get buried in group chats, decisions drag on forever, and budgets turn into last-minute spreadsheet nightmares. That's why there's Trip Exchange. Trip Exchange is completely free. It brings all your trip planning together in one simple place with no paywalls. And you can collect and organize ideas, vote, and decide together. Plan and track budgets automatically and instantly see who owes whom without spreadsheets. With Trip Exchange, there's no more missed ideas, no more confusion, no more awkward money talk either. Just clear planning, fair cost sharing, and stress-free trips from start to finish. Whether it's a weekend getaway, a group vacation, or a shared event, Trip Exchange keeps everyone on the same page. Plan smarter, travel better. Visit trip-exchange.com. That's trip-exchange, trip-exchange.com. And start planning today. Trip-exchange.com. Want to play your favorite games on the go? Or trying to bribe your kid to leave the house? With plenty of gaming power and portability, the Steam Deck Gaming Bundle from OGDiscounted.com is the perfect solution for you. OG Discounted, gaming made cheaper. Visit OGDiscounted.com to get yours now. What do motorsports and leadership really have in common? More than you think. Author Daniel Leonard shows how the same principles that win races, strategy, precision, focus, and mental strength also drive success in business in his book, The Racing Line of Leadership, Management Meets Motorsport, available on Amazon. The Racing Line of Leadership isn't theory, it's practical, actionable leadership drawn from years of real management experience and the high-pressure world of motorsport. Just like on the racetrack, there's an ideal line in leadership. Miss it and you lose momentum. Find it and everything flows. The author breaks down how attitude, movement, and character shape modern leaders, helping you make faster decisions, stay focused under pressure, and lead with clarity when it matters most. Whether you manage a team, a company, or your own career, the Racing Line of Leadership will help you stay ahead of the curve without losing control. Order your copy right now on Amazon. The Racing Line of Leadership, Management Meets Motorsport, from author Daniel Leonard. Find your line and lead with purpose.
All right, we're back. It's the Brian Craig Show. Welcome, everyone. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new, make sure you follow or subscribe. Okay, so I was talking at the beginning about how these liberals are gone. You know, as long as I've been doing this, I've seen so many different ebbs and flows and stories and trends and everything in my over 30 years of broadcasting. But things have changed with the left. They've changed in a big way. And it used to be that I could take calls from liberals and we could have a serious discussion. We would disagree on some things. The liberals were wrong, but we could have a discussion. You can't have a discussion anymore. There aren't that many liberals, not as many as there used to be. Most of the country has been red-pilled and are MAGA, even if they're still a registered Democrat. But what's happened here is that mainly since the Obama era, but you got to understand, you know, Obama was elected 18 years ago. It's 2026. He was elected in 2008. So, yeah, it's been a long time, man, hasn't it? He was elected in 2008. And so it's 20 years almost. So for the past 2 decades, it's hard to believe, isn't it? For the past 2 decades, the Democrats, with the help of the Republican establishment, have been bringing people to this country, and they've not become Americans. They've stayed something else. And what's happened is major pockets of our country, we're seeing this in Minnesota, have been colonized. That's it. And they're not American in their heart and mind. They've not been Americanized. And by the way, being Americanized is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So when you talk to these people, they're hardly recognizable. And this is an MS Now, cable network formerly known as MSDNC, in Minnesota, talking to people. And he's talking to this woman, and this just gives you an example of how far gone these people are. Listen to this woman.
Could have been avoided. So many deaths, 30 plus more deaths. I don't know the exact number in Venezuela. There were 30 plus numbers that were killed by the ICE agents in last couple of years. So many people, these deaths can be avoided. I watch 4 or 5 hours of news a day, work 16 hours a day, and it's just not enough. Same is happening with public. Same is happening with senates and everywhere. It's just happening everywhere. This all can be avoided.
Suju, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, so you know this is really a sad thing, and it's a scary thing. She obviously has a very, very heavy foreign accent, right? So she's an immigrant, and she hates everything about this country. She's got this very heavy, I guess, is that an Indian accent? And she actually thinks that everything this country does is wrong, racist, imperialistic, and that we're murdering people. So if I'm talking to that woman, I'm not, thank you for your time. I'm asking her if this country is a country of murderers, of imperialism, of racism, and all these things, why did you leave your country and come settle in this terrible place led by such bad people? That's the kind of question I would ask. You know, there's no getting through to this woman. Her mind is gone. And then you heard what she said. She was talking about the people that were killed in Venezuela in the liberation of Venezuela taking Maduro. Well, yeah, there were 30 some odd killed. They were Cubans that were fighting the U.S. Delta Force that went in and arrested him. And she's crying for them. But it's not just foreigners. Liberal Americans born and raised here. Now listen to this woman. She's white American woman, Native American woman, not an immigrant, and she's very upset because ICE was at her child's school.
I'm not okay. I am not okay. I am not okay. Okay, let me just have this hot second, okay? I just got done pleading with Border Patrol agents who were at my son's school, okay? School.
Now, this is not a normal way to think. This woman is so lost. She's so gone. Okay? If there were federal agents at your kid's school, you should be concerned not about the federal agents, but the people they're there to nab, right? That tells you that there are people at your child's school that have warrants, that are wanted. Do you want people like that around your children? And if it's a school, they're not there to pick up kids. They're there to pick up adults, not the kids. So who are these adults that federal agents are looking for? You know, is it the teacher? Is it the administrator? Is it the cafeteria worker? Is this someone who has a criminal record in their nation of origin? Maybe sexual offenses? And they've somehow, because they have no documents, they were able to get a job at your child's school? Because remember, these ICE agents, they don't go to the school to get the little kids. They go to schools to pick up adults. And she doesn't have a single concern about that. Let me rewind a little bit, then we'll listen to that. Well, let me just start it over because it just started.
I'm not okay. I am not okay. I am not okay. Okay, let me just have this hot second, okay?
Remember there was, a few weeks ago, there was wasn't it a school? It was a superintendent for an entire school district who was an illegal and had a major criminal record. And they went to, and remember he got arrested and he had weapons in his car and everything? But that doesn't bother her. She's worried about the police, the federal agents, the ICE agents.
I just got done pleading with Border Patrol agents who were at my son's school, okay? School. There was like 10 cars packed with Border Patrol folks. The whole neighborhood is out there, and I'm standing face to face with this dude, and I'm asking him, why are you doing this? I'm not here to make you a bad guy. I want to know why you are doing this.
And this is so irrational. I mean, does she look like she's married or divorced? I don't know. She's showing her hand. Let me see if she's got a wedding ring on. I mean, if she's divorced, her husband should really think about going to court and changing that custody situation. Because this woman's not stable.
Why are you choosing to do this? And he looks at me and he says, because that dude tried to hit our car. Okay, so you terrorize a school because I can't even make up a fake reason.
Okay, so now we got some information here. Someone crashed their vehicle into an ICE car driven by federal agents. I mean, that's like ICE agents are federal agents, like the FBI, the Secret Service. He fled to the school. So you have a federal fugitive who just attacked federal agents. He's gone to his school to hide. And she's upset not that this violent fugitive is running around her child's school and God knows what he'll do. Maybe he'll hold kids hostage or something. She's concerned that the federal agents he crashed into are going to apprehend him.
And I just kept asking him, you know this is a school, right?
Oh my goodness.
You know this is children.
Yeah, it's at Leering Center.
That really solidified for me, like, we are fucked.
Yeah, you are. No, she does have a wedding ring on. Oh my goodness. Her poor husband.
They just shot and murdered a woman this morning. Yeah, I am not okay. I am not okay.
No kidding. Oh my goodness. Wow, she's married. She's got a wedding ring on. Oh my goodness. I wonder if she's married to a man. I don't know. You know, to me, if I showed up at my child's school and there were federal agents there, I'd be freaking out and concerned too. That there was some fugitive from justice who is at my kid's school, and that's not safe for my child. And I'd be very happy that the cops were there or federal agents were there to get the person before they hurt somebody. Wouldn't you? But then again, I'm a normal thinking person. All right, I'll take some calls. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. If you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Paul from St. Paul,
Hey,
Minnesota.
Paul. What's up, Paul? Oh, Minnesota, ground zero.
Yeah, I've got some hairy balls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think you would have more to say than that before you hung up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how you doing, Brian?
I'm doing.
My name is Fred. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, here we go.
My opinion. What are you cats going to do when God Almighty strikes Trump down? There's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can do. There's no misinformation. God is almighty. And you sit there and you decide you will give misinformation. Donald Trump is a criminal. He's a pedophile. He's a pervert.
Yeah. Excuse me. I'm speaking.
But I would give a damn about you speaking.
Well, then you're not going to talk here. You're welcome to call me if you disagree, because I do welcome disagreement. But you have to take turns. You think I'm just going to hand the show over to you and just sit back and let you go? No, you have to have a conversation. It's a two-way, even when I'm talking to lowlives and scumbuckets like that. All right, listen, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with your calls after this. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Roofing. Happy New Year, health, wealth, and happiness, and may 2026 be your best year. The first quarter of each year is the slowest for roofing contractors across Florida due to the lack of rain, vacationers, and recuperating from the holiday spend. We have secured 2024 pricing on certain roofing materials with our suppliers for the first quarter only. So if you are planning on a new roof in 2026, take advantage of our first quarter low pricing now. These savings are significant, especially for multiple building HOA and condo associations. This covers shingles, tiles, and flat roof systems, so give me a call on my cell at 954-604-4602 or find us on the web at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602 or on the web at laportaroofing.com.
All right, we're back. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. You know, this year, I was talking to Jamie Levac this morning when I got off the air from Swift Tax, and I was telling him that because of the big, beautiful bill with all these tax deductions, tax cuts, people getting very excited because a lot of people are going to get tax returns for the first time in their life, and a lot of people are going to get massive tax refunds. bigger than they've ever gotten before. And people are like excited to do their taxes. And he says, yeah, and that's right. You want to call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. He can help you with your taxes no matter where you're located in the United States or the world. He's located here in South Florida where I'm at, but people that listen to this program have been calling him from all over the United States. He can help you not just with your federal taxes, but if you're in a state that has state taxes or local taxes like you have in Manhattan, he can help you with that too, okay? And if you don't call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax and you think you can do this on your own, well, you're paying a lot of money in taxes that you shouldn't be paying probably, or you're missing out on a refund or more money on a refund than you'll get on your own. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. He knows the tax code inside and out. And understand this, the entire tax code has changed with the big, beautiful bill, and Jamie at Swift Tax knows it inside and out. Here's his number, 954-773-1587. That number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. Call him right now, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Scott. I'm calling from Kansas City.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, I've got a question for you. By the way, we're having the same deal in Kansas City and all the Kansas cities with ICE and protests. I'll just be quick about this. 1988, I'm in Atlanta visiting a friend. We, it's my vacation, and we go down to Witchy Watchy in Florida for a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But anyhow, there was an incident that happened in Atlanta. This is at the very end of the school year in 1988, and it was between a white Atlanta officer and a young black college school woman. And there was a protest, a big protest, but it was all a bunch of urban and suburban white women locked arms and giving speeches. And the question I have for you is, well, what is it about this particular species of women?
The white liberal housewife type that live in the suburbs. Why are they so liberal?
And my sister's one. I don't know her very well. We haven't communicated much since I was 15, but she's one too.
I don't have any. I have answers for things most of the time, but that's one I don't have an answer to. Why? This is not a new. If you go back to Malcolm X even talked about the dangers of liberal white women. Right?
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know he talks about liberal people or liberals in general, but no, I didn't know that. Wow. I'll have to find that, search that out.
Well, you look at liberal women. We've had two liberal women at the top of the ticket for president, Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. And they, other than both losing to Donald Trump, they had another thing in common. Do you remember what it was?
They drank a lot.
Okay, other than that they lost to Donald Trump and are drunks. Yes, they have that in common. Can you think of something else they have in common? Yes, I wasn't thinking about the drinking, but that's one they have in common too. Yeah, they're both drunks. I'll just tell you because they probably have a lot of dysfunctions. Both Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, when they lost, neither of them could come out and concede. They sent a man out to do it.
They wrote books about it.
Yeah, so liberal women are mentally unstable is the best way to put it. I mean, they were at the top of the totem pole of liberal women.
Yeah, well, this might sound misogynistic, but I just wonder if that's why they didn't get the vote for the longest period of time.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't have a problem with Kristi Noem. She's, she's doing a good job leading Homeland Security. She's pretty tough. I wouldn't mess with Kristi Noem.
Yeah, I find there to be a lot of talented women, and I've worked in campaigns for talented women here in Kansas City. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, but why are liberal women so nuts? I don't know. Good question.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd ask the impossible question, got the answer, which was no answer at all.
Well, okay, appreciate the call. Scott from Kansas City. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, in regards to what, someone like Megyn Kelly or Tucker Carlson, looking at them just keep going on and on about themselves.
Yes.
I mean, we have a president that is doing the greatest of things. And I mean, so much is happening. There's so much to talk about what the Democrats are doing. And rather than that, they're focusing on Candace Owens, a loser. And,
all they do, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and a few others, all they do two things. Either they're talking about themselves or they're talking about what other people are saying about them.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if I did that?
People don't want to hear that kind of thing. They want political content. They want to hear what's going on in the world.
These are very self-important narcissists. Why do you think they have their picture in every thumbnail on their YouTube videos? You don't see me doing that too much. If I do a vlog, I'll show myself in the thumbnail just to separate it from the regular show so you guys know. But these guys, they got their faces in every thumbnail, and it's ridiculous. They're self-important. Yeah. You know what it is? I was talking to my wife about this yesterday, about Nick Shirley. And Nick Shirley, because I've been watching some of his videos on YouTube, I'm getting recommendations on YouTube, and I've been getting old videos of his. And he used, when he was younger, when he was a teenager, he was doing a lot of prank videos. And he did one video where he was calling celebrities, pretending to be a manager for Justin Bieber, and was getting celebrities to show up for this Justin Bieber song debut that didn't happen. And he was hanging out with all kinds of people doing pranks. And I was telling my wife, I said, it's an interesting thing because he was like 16 then. The new age of journalism, they come from a different place than where the old school. And Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson are dinosaurs. They're just too in love with themselves to realize it. Tucker Carlson came to us through his CIA dad. Megyn Kelly worked, if I remember correctly, she came up through some local news, and then she became a pundit on Fox, and then she got a show, and then, you understand what I mean? Yeah, and a lot of times, local reporters make it to the network, and that old way of dinosaurs, that's just not the way it is anymore. Regular people are coming up through the ranks, like Nick Shirley, and becoming the top investigative journalist of in Nick Shirley's case, he's uncovered one of the biggest stories in history. It's interesting.
I've been a couple. It's awesome. I mean, to see this because, and I said this before to you. In a world of all of these, Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly's and Chuck Carlson, be a Nick Shirley, because Nick Shirley is the future. People like him.
Oh yeah.
Because these people don't have the guts to go out there and do half a quarter of what he's already done. Can you picture them getting out there and going into a community just to ask questions to people that are out there, that are corrupt? This guy just goes out there and he does things that are just. He's been everywhere. I mean, even way before this video, he made videos in Minnesota, these two incredible videos.
I was surprised. He's been doing investigative reporting for years, and some of it is in some really dangerous places. I saw him on the street interviewing, I think it was like street prostitutes in a very dangerous area. And he was in New York. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was... He was in New York.
You see the one where he was in New York doing the whole scamming, they were selling stuff on the street, Ponzi scammers. They were selling the product and stuff, and they were going to threaten to kill him. They were trying to attack him.
He did an interview today, Nick Shirley, and his whole family are under 24-hour security now. His whole family are being threatened now for reporting the news.
I subbed to his mom's page too. She's doing her own thing too, and now they're all targets.
I would like to see Nick. I know he's very busy with what he does, but I'd like to see him do a podcast as opposed to being a guest on other podcasts like Start His Own.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And do you think he'll stay independent? Because I really do think he might. He's got his own security already to sign up for him. So
I hope so.
So that's good.
I hope so.
Because I heard that he has his own. Because that's where it starts. We'll pay for your security and blah blah blah. But I think he already has his own. So if he can maintain his own team, he prides himself on being independent. And he always talks about it because that's what we want to see.
Well,
Because
what happens is he is a big threat to the establishment, and and I'm sure he's already gotten big offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you think he's maybe staying strong with seeing a whole new breed of a person here that can't be bought off. That's going to be real.
This is what happens. Real. Like Geraldo Rivera used to be kind of like Nick Shirley back in the 70s.
Yeah.
And he did real investigative work. And he did a story. The last time Geraldo Rivera, I know it's hard to believe that Geraldo Rivera used to do big stories, but he got fired by ABC News. He did a story. He was on 2020, and he used to do investigative reports, and he was very good. And he did a story on the Kennedys, and he had Secret Service agents and audio tapes of both Kennedys having sex with Marilyn Monroe, one after the other. It was crazy, and he got fired for the story on ABC. And it was real investigative reporting. And back in the 80s, early 80s, that was a big deal, right? Because it was 20 years after Kennedy was killed, right? And then what happened? He went mainstream, and then he never did anything. He did stupid stuff after that. So that's what happened. And he made big money. So he sold out for the money and gave up being an investigative journalist.
You know, I did watch some old footage of him, from the 70s and 80s doing his old stuff. And actually, back then, I couldn't believe how good he was.
He was very good.
And, I was watching some. He had a lot of, controversial people and some dangerous people that he was talking to.
See, that's one of the reasons when I first went to the radio station where Steve Kane worked. Before I knew Steve Kane used to be very, very good friends with Geraldo Rivera. And I knew that. And that's one of the reasons it wasn't the only reason, but it was one of the reasons I wanted to work with Steve Kane, is because Geraldo Rivera was such a big deal. But hey, listen, appreciate the call. If you'd like to support my program and my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all my podcasts. Also, you have access to exclusive Patreon-only live streams that I do on the Patreon page for Patreon supporters only. And it's a no troll zone there. It's a live stream similar to what I do on YouTube, that vertical live stream on YouTube, but it's just for Patreon supporters, no trolls. It's a lot of fun, and you get to hear me talk about some things in a way you don't hear on this show. I'll give you a lot of behind the scenes. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube, and you get a live on-air thank you shout out on every episode. The names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Again, the link's in the description, or you can go directly to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. All right, appreciate that. I wanted to, a couple more things I wanted to share with you. Hold on, where was this? Okay. This is a street interview of a grandma, and she's African-American, and being African-American is important for this clip. Listen.
How do you plan on getting rich in 2026?
Become Somalian. Why? Because I'm going to move to Minnesota and open up a daycare center with 0 students.
You hear it? That's crazy. Black woman, elderly woman. And the Democrats have lost her. See, this is one of the things the Democrats are facing right now. They have absolutely completely lost the support of key groups. This woman here, if I would have talked to her back in the 90s or the 2000s, maybe even during Trump's first term, she'd be a Democrat, right? She was on the Obama train. Probably big, yeah, exactly. And now here she is. She's MAGA. This is what I mean about having lost Tucker. I meant to play this earlier. Listen to this. This is Tucker. He's talking about Venezuela.
It is wrong for bigger countries to swallow up smaller countries just because they want to. That's why we declared war against Germany when they went into Poland. But weirdly, we did not declare war against the Soviet Union when they did the same thing the same day. But whatever. The point is, it is...
No, well, first off, we didn't declare war when they went into Poland. That was in 1939, and we declared war in 1941 after Pearl Harbor. He's talking about Venezuela, right? And Venezuela has been directly attacking our country for years. I don't need to get between the drugs and the invasion and everything else. He knows exactly. He knows exactly what why we went in there and why we removed Maduro, and he's a tool. All right, let me pull up a couple more things. Hold on a second that I wanted to share with you. Hold on a second. I have two things. Let me see. Where did I put the? Okay, now this. I got two clips I wanted to play from Nick Shirley, and he did this podcast, the Full Send podcast, which I've never heard of before. Have you guys heard of the Full Send podcast? But this is where it is from.
It is scary in the sense that, like, they came after me. They tried to debunk me, but they couldn't. And so then they came after my family. They doxed my house. Right now I have security with my mom all 24/7, and I have to roll with security. And it's not what I wanted.
Oh my God, that's sad, bro.
And it's just because you expose fraud. Like, isn't that something everyone should be celebrating?
Yeah.
On the ladder, is there anyone coming to support you that's like trying to offer you more security or wants you to keep going and continue exposing these people?
Yeah, a lot of people have reached out. For instance, named Officer Tatum. He actually started, like, he has a security company. He has like a nonprofit side where people can donate. And so I have received donations that go like that I can only use for security. So I have to use it. And so that's been great because security is not cheap.
Right.
Yeah, so Officer Tatum's been helping him in his fundraising. And there's one more clip. And he's right. I mean, he breaks a news story, and all of a sudden he and his entire family are threatened. And the media don't even report it because, well, they're jealous.
You know what's interesting about Tim Walz? Why do you think Kamala Harris chose Tim Walz? Nobody knew who he was before.
Why? That is interesting.
The first day he's chosen, he raises the most amount of money than any other candidate in history. I think it's over $35 million he raised for the campaign within just a day of being selected to become the vice president. And now we know all this fraud's happening. How did Tim Walz, he used to be a high school football coach, he's not even from Minnesota, he's from Nebraska. How was he able to raise the most amount of money?
That's great. Do you think the Somalians were funding it?
100%. It had to be some sort of fraud. You know,
isn't that something? I tell you, this is the new media. I got to tell you this, okay? I've been following news my entire life. I've not seen investigative journalism like this. Not ongoing. Under fire, okay? Under fire. Even though they've gone after him and done all these things to him, he's still out there taking them on. And Tim Walz, that's why Tim Walz has been freaking out so much, because they're all over him, and he's in big trouble. And I do believe that I think there's about an 80 to 90% chance that he's going to be arrested. You guys agree with that? Mm-hmm. Things are getting real bad for him. Now, if you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe or follow on whatever platform you are listening on. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I will talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in.